So, Lorenzo, I want to discuss with you something that a question that comes to me a lot, and I think it's a very valid question. And
Mhm.
the question is that, okay, well, why focus so much energy on writing the description of the product page when no one really reads on the product page?
When
People,
AI can read it, can write it too, right?
that's true. That's true. AI can content write it as well. But I think the bigger point people make, and I think it's an interesting observation, is that when they tell me about these are marketers, when they tell me about their personal shopping habits, they say that I never read the description of the product page because I don't trust what marketers are saying. I take it with a grain of salt. So that's one objection. The other one is that they say, I just scroll down to the reviews, and I see what people are saying. I don't care what the brand is saying about what their product does. Another group of people say that they leave the website and they go on Reddit and they read what people are saying on Reddit. And so the basic idea is that, people don't read descriptions, people don't read content in general, and then of course they don't trust the content that's on your product page. And so I've been thinking a lot about this because it's the thing I do, right? I write descriptions on the product page. And so I wanted to kind of like tell you, like, I have two perspectives on this that I think are important. Number one is, and the other thing is, even clients themselves will say that, we've got session recordings, we've seen how people behave on our product page, and people are like scrolling up and down and nobody's reading the description. We've talked to our customers and we've asked them, like, would you like more content on the product page or less content? Everybody says they want less content. We have looked at our competitors and we see that they have very short bullet points. We've seen Amazon, they have 4 bullet points. So I've been thinking a lot about this, and I have two perspectives over here. The first one is that I think it's misleading when you look at shoppers in an aggregate, because if you look at your actual conversion rates, only 1% of people or 2% of people are actually buying from you. So when you look at it in aggregate, you're also accounting for what 98% of people, their opinion is, and what their behavior is. And I think that's very misleading, because you really want to focus on, like, the people that bought. Now, if you were to have surveyed people that actually made a purchase, I think you'll see a much higher proportion of people saying that I read the description, in addition to other things, that I read the description. The other reason, that's reason number one, is why I think the value of the description is being undervalued. The other reason is that other reason why I'm such a big fan of the description is because it is the least expensive variable or least expensive lever that's in our control. We know, you and I have talked about this, that people are obsessed with product images and they spend a lot of time looking in the image gallery. But doing a photo shoot, again, of course, now with this AI thing, I think we might radically reduce the cost of that. But traditionally, doing a photo shoot is very expensive and time consuming. And so, yes, product images matter. And yes, you can do a good job with making them 10x better or 5x better, but it's expensive. The problem I have with reviews is that if you have 5,000 4.5-star reviews, that's amazing. But if you're just unlucky and the last 3 reviews you've got are like, this, I didn't like the product, or the service was really crappy, or somebody's upset about a mistake that they made, the buyer who looks at those last 3 reviews will 100% not buy, because that's a negative review sequence of negative reviews. And so effectively it's out of our control. So that is why, to me, the product description is the one variable that we can play with. So anyway, that's one of the things that I've been thinking about, and I'd like to get your take on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a challenge to those people that don't believe that people read content and copy. Why don't you add in the copy this sentence? Actually, it's not even a sentence. Just say that you're offering the product 100% free with a 100% discount. Let's see how many people apply it. If you think that people don't read it, right? You're not gonna get. You wouldn't be afraid of, like, oh my God, what if a lot of people are gonna apply to 100%? But this is your theory, right? Like, if your hypothesis is that nobody reads it, why just not adding 100% discount?
True. That's a very valid point. There's another thing. Actually, this reminds me of another thing. Go ahead.
That's all, like, I have to say, right? Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's like, it's hard to convince people on certain things, right? If to change their mind and so on. Yeah, sure, you can go the content consumption route. You can start adding some analytics tool like events and stuff like that. But if like, I think the easiest one would be like just like, and again, you know, a lot of people won't do it because they're afraid of, oh, what if we're giving away? That's exactly the point.
That's right. That's exactly right. You know, the other thing I'll say over here, this is another really important concept that I think a lot about, and it's called guiding the shopper. So, of course, people don't want to read. Of course, people don't want to buy. You know, of course, young people don't want to have their vegetables, right? You have to figure out clever ways of nudging them, what we call attention sculpting, clever ways of kind of drawing their attention and helping them understand the value of the copy. So we use a lot of priming techniques, for example. Like I know that people don't want to read a lot of content. People want to skim in 2 minutes, right? So I'll say something like, you know, buying an air purifier is a very expensive purchase. And, you know, I think it makes sense to spend at least 5 minutes reading the description. And do you agree? Do you disagree? Everyone will say, I agree. And when they say, I agree, they have primed themselves to want to read more content. But the point is, the other thing I'll say over here is that the last thing I'll say here is that the most important variable in predicting if people will read your description is to actually nail the opening of your description. If the opening is really good, you will suck them in and they'll read more. You know, otherwise, of course, they won't read. And, you know, Lorenzo, just to going back to the point you made about people read or people don't read, you know, these same people that we think don't read have no problem watching a 3.5-hour Avatar movie or watching, you know, binge watching on Netflix. They are reading the stuff that's interesting to them. So make it interesting. That's the marketer's job.
So this is another point. The reason why people think that people don't read content is also because it's the intern that comes up with the product description, and the intern is not good at writing product copy, right? So I think it goes back to like, okay, do people read and don't read? Yeah, if it's crap, of course they're not gonna read it. But it's if it's good content, they're gonna consume it. And I'm not saying that everybody will, right? Like you talked about the concept of skimmers and diggers, right? The skimmers might not read that much of content, or at least less content than the diggers. But again, if the content sucks, they're not gonna read it. It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was our 2 cents for today, and we will be back with another episode.
If you're a marketer and you think that you know your users don't read the content, please just, you know, give 100% discount on the product page. This is a joke, by the way, right? I just want to make sure, you know, people understand I'm not giving that advice. It's kind of like
you're just making them realize that, wait a minute, yeah, that you know, that somewhere inside them they are concerned about the fact that, oh yeah, people do read. You know, I want to just mention as well, since I have you, Lorenzo, and I have the audience here today, 2 things. One is that, you know, please like and comment on this. This is how we know what content, you know, what ideas resonate with you, so we can create more content around the topics that you find interesting. But I want to also say something, Lorenzo, which you, I'm sure, aware of. December 23rd is our 1-year anniversary. So we've been doing this now for 1 whole year. It feels like at least 2-3 years. I couldn't have found a better partner to kind of think about this kind of show. And it's so effortless, like literally, like when we, you know, we just say like, hey, let's just record a show today. You know, it's like, great, this is going to be the best part of my day. So I know that's how I know that what we're doing is really meaningful. So I want to thank the listeners. I want to thank you for sticking around and encouraging us. And I think we'll be putting out at least twice as much content next year for sure. Just because, you know, we have so many more ideas to share. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and I want to say that this content creation that we've been doing for again like 1 entire year, it's been a lot of fun, Rishi. Like for me, this is not work. This is like, you know, you and I talking about stuff that we love,
that we were talked about anyway.
Exactly. We like before we starting this show, we would get on the phone, me and you, maybe like once a month, twice a month, and like riffing on stuff. So why not just making this public? And so for me, this doesn't feel work. you know, like somebody texted me the other day, oh, but you guys are working too much, you know, a lot of content, but to me, it doesn't feel work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's totally frictionless, and it's the byproduct of what we think about any day. I'm already studying product pages every day, so this is just an opportunity for me to show off. And Lorenz is already doing reviews mining, so this is an opportunity for him to show off and other things as well. So I think this is awesome, and thank you for partnering with me on this, and this has been really fun. So I'll see you again soon. Take care.